What is up, you guys? How are you all doing? Hopefully you guys are doing well. And today we have a very special car that I'm doing a video with, and this is a 2020 Shelby. Is it a Shelby Cobra Mustang?
It's a Shelby GT500 carbon fiber track pack.
Okay, so there you heard it from Don. This is his car, and this is absolutely gorgeous. And if you guys have been watching my channel for a while, you guys know that Mustangs aren't my biggest car, but Don's is actually so nice. His is one of the very few that I actually really love. So guys, this is Don. Don, talk about your car. How long have you had it? What's done to it and everything like that?
So I bought it in 2020. I was looking for at least 6 months. Couldn't find anything because it was during COVID. And so cars were impossible to find. And I found this one in Texas, brand new. And they offered to sell it to me for basically MSRP. So I said, well, I'll just buy it, you know, sight unseen. So I had it shipped here. It got here in December. So of course, December weather, couldn't really do much with it. And you know, but summer came along and we started putting together club events and things like that, and I've had it ever since, and it's got almost 14,000 miles on it now, and every mile has been a ball of fun.
And were you specifically looking for Mustangs, or were you looking just for other cars and you happened to stumble upon this one?
I had a list, so I was looking for a GT3, an R8, or a carbon fiber track pack GT500.
Nice.
And you know, everything was impossible to find then.
Yeah, that's what I heard during COVID. Like, there was so many cars that were impossible to find just because of the market and everything. So,
and I have 3 daughters, and one of them is partial to Mustangs, so she was super happy. And she's actually tracked the car. She's tracked GT500s at age 17, and she's tracked this car at age 18. At PIR. She got kicked off the track for noise violations.
Oops.
She's pretty fast.
That's awesome. And one thing that Don was telling me just before I got here was that he had to throw on his aluminum wheels because he has carbon wheels, which if you guys don't know, with these cars, if you get the carbon track edition, they come with carbon wheels. And he unfortunately got a screw in one of his tires, but he just rolled one of these wheels out here so you guys can see the carbon on it. But this is crazy. Now, Don, let me ask you something. So compared to an aluminum wheel, how much lighter are the carbon wheels compared to the aluminum wheels?
Well, don't quote me on this, but I think the aluminum or the carbon wheels are somewhere around 15 to 18 pounds, and the aluminum wheels are closer to maybe 40 pounds.
Wow.
So, and it makes a big difference because it's rotating mass.
Right.
I can really feel the difference between the two.
Really? I didn't know that they were that much of a difference.
Yeah. Without a tire on that wheel, if it's windy, you could throw it up in the air and it would literally, you know, blow a little ways into the downwind. So it's really light. And
you say you notice the difference while you're driving it, having the carbons on versus the aluminums.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep, absolutely. It's quicker in steering. It seems a little crisper under the brakes, and I feel like I have a little bit more control over the car.
So another thing that Don was saying is this car is a lot more oriented towards the track than the street. So we aren't really sure how the car is going to perform out on the street, just because he said that when he takes off from a red light, he'll spin and he'll lose to a Prius. So we may not get on it a lot just because, you know, for safety reasons and everything like that. But we'll try and get some exhaust clips and some pulls for you guys for the video. But other than that, I think it's time to do a ride along and see what the car can do. Get a shot of the interior for you guys. This thing is super gorgeous. That is nice. So how are your neighbors when you started up in the morning? Do they hate you, or are they pretty?
I have another car that's even louder, so this car is pretty tame.
That's good to hear.
Yeah, the neighbors are all really cool.
That's good. These seats are really comfy.
Yeah, I've driven this car all the way to Vegas and back.
Wow.
And after about 6 hours, they're not super comfy, but the first 6 hours wasn't bad.
Open the window so you guys can hear the exhaust. Now, do you have valves on your exhaust at all?
Yeah, and they're open right now. So I recently tracked the car, and when the gas light's on, it thinks I'm going to run out of gas in a few miles, but it also thinks I'm only getting 3 miles to the gallon right now. So we've got plenty of gas. But to get through all the OKs on the dash before I can hit the button to turn the exhaust on.
That's funny.
But yeah, if you track the car, at PIR I've never done better than 3 miles to the gallon. So
Wow.
in 45 miles I'll burn through a full tank.
Really?
Just 2 sessions, yeah.
That's crazy.
So I was at Taste of Motorsports recently, and then brought it home from there, so it still thinks I'm getting 3 miles to the gallon.
Oh, jeez. So I want to ask you something too. So I've heard that Mustangs can feel like a boat to drive. How does this feel? I mean, obviously you've probably gotten used to it throughout the years that you've had it, but does it feel big to drive?
Depends on what you compare it to, but this has the magnetic shocks, and it's completely different suspension than a regular Mustang.
Really?
And I've driven regular Mustangs, you know, like rentals and stuff, and this is much different. So I would say, especially with the carbon wheels on it, it feels like a lighter car.
Okay.
If you drive a McLaren, you know, before or after you drive this, yeah, it feels heavy. But,
Right.
But you need something that's almost like an exotic car to make this kind of feel like a kind of a boat.
Right.
And in fact, I have this on soft suspension setting right now. I'll firm it up here in a minute, but it's definitely not a floaty car.
All right, Don, I see a Porsche in front of this car. You think you can take them?
Yeah. I don't think it's a turbo, so I think I can.
What's the fastest car you think you had fun with?
Well, I drove an F1 car back in England in 2000.
Oh, wow.
And so that's obviously the epitome. But this is probably the next fastest that I've ever driven.
That's cool. How much horsepower does this have?
760.
Woo! Now, does this car have carbon ceramic brakes?
No, they're 16.5-inch. They're regular cast iron, and they're 16.5-inch. So they're
Okay.
pretty big.
I don't know if you guys saw that Porsche, but that was a good looking Porsche.
And we were losing the back end a little bit.
I felt that. This thing really does put you back in your seat when you get on it. That's so crazy. I always ask people this question too, and I'm going to ask you this, but does that feeling ever get old when you just get on it and it puts you back? Do you ever get tired of that?
No, and I never get done with this car at the end of the day and say, wow, I wish it had more power. It just seems perfect, and so no, it never gets boring, and I never feel like I need more with this car.
That's good.
And I'm in soft suspension mode,
Uh-huh.
so I should probably change that. So I put it in sport, and I'm also slowing down the steering a little bit.
So does changing it into sport mode like change the exhaust sound as well?
I'm in loud exhaust already, but yeah, normally it would if I didn't have it in loud exhaust. So it kind of gives me choices.
I bet whenever you drive by a group of kids, they just this car just turns all their heads.
Well, the color that it is. My daughter went to OSU for a couple of years. So when I'd go visit her in this, you can imagine the reaction from all the kids.
Right.
Given the color of the car. So that was funny because they thought I had the car painted to match, you know, the OSU colors.
Right.
Just a coincidence.
That's so funny. So Dawn's gonna give us a little bit of a gap, and there's no one behind us, so we're gonna roll down the window a bit so you guys can hear the exhaust. And while he's going, I'm not gonna talk or anything because you won't be able to hear me, so I'm just gonna let you guys hear the exhaust. Wow. This car just does so amazing. Wow. Now, I've done a lot of reviews and ride-alongs with cars, and I have never felt a car do so well around corners like this. Like, we're doing
acceleration, it's a little iffy because it's always trying to send the back end around.
Right.
But with the right tires and they're heated up just enough on the track, you know, you don't get a lot of the back end trying to come around.
Yeah.
It usually takes me about a lap and a half at PIR to start getting them really at the right temps.
Right. And do you know what temperature your tires have to be at, or do you not know that
I do
kind of
it
information?
based on pressure, so I usually start at about 27 psi. And when they get to 35 psi, I know they're hot.
There you go. And does your car? Oh yeah, it does tell you that. So
Yeah.
look at this, you
But
guys. It tells
I started with 31 cold, so they're not quite as hot, but
Okay.
but they're at about the right
That is
pressures.
cool.
Yeah.
All right, you guys. So we're gonna get a flyby of Don's car coming down the road. So that's gonna be pretty sick. I have not heard his car do a flyby from outside the car. That thing sounds so good, and I'm sure you guys can tell that I'm shaking. I think it's just the adrenaline. Wow, I can't speak, but that the experience of going around those corners and bends at such a high rate of speed was just incredible. Like that feeling you get of being put back in your seat. Oh my God, I don't know how to explain it, but it's just insane. I don't want to exaggerate too much and try to over-explain myself and make it boring for you guys, but that was just so cool. I've never experienced that feeling before. All right, here he comes. Oh my God. God, holy shit, dude. That is wild. I can't believe how awesome that car is. Wow. That is wild, man. And the car sounds so good at high RPMs.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's what I hear.
I was just telling the video people, I was like, that's so ballsy how you can just get on it like that and just, oh my gosh, that is crazy. Now, obviously that has to come with, you know, like you said, knowing the car, experience, and everything like that.
Yeah, a lot of people wreck these.
Oh, I can see why. Like, look at this corner, you guys. We're going around these bends at 55 miles an hour, and these are not wide corners. Oh my gosh, that's G-forces. Like this corner here says 25 miles an hour, and Don's doing this at like almost 50. Double the speed. Oh. Wow. The G-forces of this is just insane. Does this have? Do you know the numbers?
Somewhere in the 600s.
Wow. That is just insane. Now I know I mentioned already, I've done a lot of reviews and ride-alongs with cars, but no one has ever pushed their car to this limit that you have with this Mustang. That is so insane how incredible the handling is.
Yeah.
How does it feel driving a car that can handle that well? Like, does it make you feel confident when you can get on it like
Yeah,
that?
I could do that all day. Yeah.
Wow.
And I feel like I should wear a cape in this car.
That long did it take you to get comfortable with the handling and everything to do that?
It took about a year.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, there were a few times where I had scary moments.
Oh yeah, I think we all have. And is this bike by far one of your favorite cars that you've owned?
Yeah, I've had Porsches. I've had a 993 Cabriolet, 940 Ford Turbo. I've had other Mustangs, and this by far is like, the best all-around performance car I've ever owned.
Wow. What about this car is your favorite? Is it like the handling, how it
might be the brakes.
Really? Yeah, the brakes are really great. I'm sure you guys can see it when he was going through those turns and getting on it. When he was braking, it was like jerking me forward. The braking on this car is just so wild. So Don was just telling me about the motor and everything, so I'm sure the audience would like to know some specs about it. So what were you saying? It's a V8 and what else?
So it's handmade in the Ford's Romeo niche line, which actually they shut down.
Oh wow!
But it's a 5.2 liter, which is different than the 5 liter that comes in the Mustang. And so it's a 4-cam engine, and then it's got a supercharger as well.
Wow.
So it's unique to the Mustang.
Now let me ask you something, Don. When they made these cars, did they make only like a certain amount of them, like 1 out of 500 or whatever?
Yeah, so they made about 1,200 carbon fiber track packs a year.
Wow.
And they made about 5,000 total Mustang GT500s per year. So yeah, about, and they did it for 3 years. So there's somewhere around 3,000 to 3,600 carbon fiber track packs.
That is crazy. And yeah, so Don was just telling me about a cool feature that this car has that you don't see in a regular Mustang. So go ahead and explain what you were just explaining to me.
Yeah, normally I'm a diehard manual guy, and I have other cars that are manual transmission. But in this car, you're really busy driving it, especially at the track, and so it's best to have both hands on the wheel. So this has a DCT or a double clutch, so it's a 7-speed, in contrast to the typical Mustang that's got a 10-speed auto. So it's basically in 2 gears at all times, and then it just flips back and forth between each gear. So the shifts are almost instantaneous. So
I was going to ask how quick the shifts are. That's really, because I know some cars, a lot of people have the issue of where there's like a little bit of a lag, and they hate that, and they have to add something or do something to make it quicker. So that's really nice that they're instantaneous and it can shift just on cue like that.
Yeah.
So Don was also just telling me something else that's really crazy. So go ahead and just tell him what you were just telling me.
Yeah, so most of the Shelbys come with vinyl stripes, and this one actually has painted stripes. So what Ford does is they send it off to Penske. So they basically take it off production, send it off to Penske, and it's there for several weeks. And they paint the stripes on, and then they send it back to production. And then it goes through its normal process from there. The crazy thing is they charge $10,000 extra for the painted stripes. And in this car, it's even more ridiculous because it came with the painted black top option, which Ford paints. So the cost per linear foot of stripe on this car is, I'm sure, ridiculous.
Oh, yeah, it costs an arm and a leg.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
But at least I never have to worry about the stripes peeling off. But definitely have to pay for that.
Now, how is the maintenance on this car? Is it pretty wild and expensive, or is it pretty easy and...
It's pretty easy. I haven't had to do a thing to it other than oil changes, and it does like the oil changes because I get a little thing that tells me to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's got 14,000 miles, and I've done 4 oil changes at 12 quarts per oil change.
Wow.
Which is, around $250 if I do it myself.
Right.
Because it's synthetic, and then it's almost due for its 5th oil change. So,
oh wow.
Yeah, it likes its oil.
All right, guys. So Don just opened up his hood. I didn't even think about getting this in the video before we took it out, but I'm sure you guys want to see the engine bay and everything, and the monster that powers this beast. So here it is. That is so crazy. Yeah. And like Don was saying, they were hand built, so you can see it has a plaque on it there. So what were you gonna say, Don?
Oh yeah, the guy's name who built it, his name is Phil Pregano.
Okay.
And I think there's about 10 or 12 builders that at the time that were building those. And so, yeah, this is as built. So it's 100% stock, even the
Wow.
airbox.
And when we were on our way back here, Don was also saying that at the time, Ford was trying to make the most expensive Mustang that they could, and they have almost every box checked and everything. And that's just, and I'm assuming it has all of the added on packaging that you can get and everything as well.
So yeah, the Ford dealer decided they were going to have check everything that was the most expensive on the options list, and then they tried to sell it for about $50,000 over MSRP and couldn't sell it. And then I came along at the end of the year, and they needed it off their books. So yeah, I got a pretty sweet deal on it at the time. But yeah, this was the most expensive Mustang according to the dealer and according to the options list, built in 2020.
Wow, that is absolutely crazy. Well, you guys, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video of us taking Don's Mustang out. We do have another car that we're going to take out as well, but that's going to be in another video. So for now, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Don, thank you so much for letting me ride in your Mustang.
Thank you, Cam.
What a experience, man. That was so awesome. So
hope everybody enjoys the drive to Tijuana.
yeah, right. So, and then in a couple of days, you guys are going to see this next video that we're doing with his other car come out. So again, Don, that was one hell of an experience, man. I've never had that kind of experience before. Like I said, I've had ride-alongs before. No one's ever pushed their car to that kind of limit, and you've pushed your car, and that was made for one hell of an experience. So thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right, guys, with that being said, don't forget to click the subscribe button. Don't forget to leave a like, and don't forget to leave a comment as well. All right, guys, take care.